Everybody, I want to make a quick video of my homemade cold smoker. I'm using a Traeger pellet smoker, but it's too warm to actually do a cold smoke. So what I've made is a homemade contraption, all made from scraps around the house, into a cold smoker. The only thing I had to buy was this dryer line. So what I'll do is I'll connect this to the pipe right here. I'm sure this voids any warranty the Traeger has. Then over here I have this line where the smoke cools down and then enters my old cooler that I've converted into a cold smoker. So right here I just have an attachment that connects this line into the cooler that I cut a hole into, and then inside I have my fish rack that's just made out of some cookie sheets and actually a piece of my neighbor's fence. I hope he doesn't mind. If you look inside, I have a little rack in here to keep it off the bottom because a little bit of moisture does collect at the bottom. So once I put the fish in, and I'll be doing that a little bit later once it cools off at night, I smoke it at night. So I put the lid on like this, and then when I'm ready to smoke, I move it up here so that it's the same height as the pipe coming out of the Traeger. So here in a couple hours, when it cools off and gets dark, I'll be out here again putting my fish in, which will smoke all night long. So I have my rack of fish here. I've set it up so there's a little bit of space in between them, and I just checked the temperature on this smoker, and when it's connected and smoking, it's right at about 65 degrees, which is just fine for a cold smoke. It's cooled off tonight, so it should smoke at a pretty even 60 to 70 degrees, which is what I understand as being a cold smoke. I just stuck this little meat thermometer inside there for a while as I've had it hooked up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the lid on, and I do leave a little bit of an opening here on this end just to let a little bit of the smoke out. I'll go ahead and put this back up here. Check my connections. I took this connection off as I was getting everything set up, put the fish on, and so I am good to go. And I'll probably strap that down here tonight just so I don't have to worry about it blowing away in the middle of the night and me losing all this fish that I prepared for a couple days. Okay, so it's the next morning, and this thing, hopefully you can see, is just still smoking away. We should have some really good smoked trout in there. I'm not a fan of the cold smoke texture, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to crank this up to about 350 degrees, and I'm going to actually cook the cold smoked fish. And I do that just to be sure that I'm not eating raw, improperly cured, or improperly smoked fish. But technically, I guess this would be the final process of cold smoked. It's still very tender and soft, as cold smoked fish usually is. So I'm going to pull that whole thing out and just put it right on the grill. And I've only got one hand this morning, so I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do and start doing it. So I'm going to put this back on like it's supposed to be. And then here in about 15 minutes the process will be done, and I'll have a cooked cold smoked trout. And the reason I cold smoke it first is to get that rich smoke flavor.